and I'm your host today. And today we have one of my returning rock stars here with me, Lisa Maya from Zeald, who always delivers amazing presentations that give us calls to actions, food for thought, and ways to grow our business, of course. And today we're going to be talking about how to make your brand authentic in 2022. So things have changed. Hey, a lot has changed over the past 2 years, and we need to grow with it. We've exponentially grown in tech and in business. So there's a lot of work we need to do to get on par with all of that. And Lisa's here to help us to do that. So we really appreciate your time, Lisa. And as a reminder, if you're tuning in with us on social media, which is quite common these days, remember to use the chat function, the Q&A function, or the comment section, depending on what platform you're streaming from, so that you can get your questions answered by this expert. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Good to be back.
Indeed.
First one of the year.
I know. Is this your first one, or did I miss the first one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first one for the year.
Yeah.
For Digital Boost. Yeah, because I know that for us ourselves, we haven't started webinars till a bit later this year as well. So good to get back into it though.
Yeah, I'm so excited because you know what, there's so many cool things happening now in tech that it's just grown so exponentially in the past couple of years. And I feel like mentally we're coming through. So, we're mentally coming through, and I think we're able to take on new information a little bit easier, because when we're in those states of trauma, obviously it's really hard to continually grow educationally. We know that it's just a fact. And so now I feel like everybody's going, I'm ready to do some serious work this year and get myself off the ground. And I know that you've always got heaps of content, so I'm not going to take up any more of your space. We'll get your screen going, and I'm going to get all the chats going on the back end.
Awesome. Well, you are right there. I actually have a bit to get through today, so I should make it under the hour, but let's kick into it. So today I'm covering off how to make your brand authentic online in 2022. But before I do get into that, I am going to touch on about the numbers and why digital, because I think that's important. Whenever you need to do something, people like to know the why. Why should I look at social media? Why should I be making my brand authentic on social media? So looking at the numbers, and they're pretty massive. So globally, before we delve into NZ, globally, social media users have grown by more than 10% in the last 12 months. So 424 million new users started their social media journey in 2021. That's massive. So at least 4.62 billion of the world's 7.91 billion population are active social media users, according to the January 2022 Global Digital Report. Again, massive figures there. More than half of the users in the world are on social media in one type or the other. Now let's bring it back to New Zealand. So in New Zealand, 89.2% or 4.35 million of the 4.88 million total population were social media users in January 2022. So growing by 380,000 between 2021 and 2022. Again, it's a massive leap. So it's just showing that more and more people are connecting with social media and are using that as a means to connect to the wider world as well. So of the 4.88 million Kiwi social media users, 56% use social media to find information about brands and products. So half of them are out there and they're actively looking to find those informations, find reviews, just even following and get to know more about that company. So this is what our Global Digital Report and data reportal.com have provided. And again, very important to understand that that is a lot of people. So why use social media for small businesses then? Social media can help you engage with your customers and find out what they're saying about your business. Sorry, and with that, it's how they can. It's almost becoming that new word of mouth. So instead of people actively being out in the community and sharing your business with other people who may benefit from your services or products, it is now sort of taking over that word of mouth I guess, referral that people were looking for, and it's where people are spending their time as well. So similar back a while ago now, you know, ads on the TV is where people would learn a lot of information and see things about new products. It is now moving towards the social media space, in particular because video is taking off so well as well. So what are the benefits of that? So the benefits of this is that in times of resilience, such as COVID-19, it's made it very clear that being online or having a digital plan ready will ensure your business can survive times like that, where potentially we're stuck at home or we're unable to function in our normal day-to-day lives. So these digital tools and capabilities really did help small businesses have a bit of a lifeline to be able to continue trading, or at least be communicating with their customers and potential customers during this time as well. So business owners were able to quickly also adapt to operating online with the tools that we already have today, and have continued to progress further over time. And it's provided them that ability to trade and interact with customers as well, beyond usual operating hours. So for someone who's maybe looking at your product or service quite late at night, they're still able to get in touch. And I mean, if you are working then, great. Sometimes you probably get back in touch with them then too. But if not, then you're able to sort of pick up that message in the morning and carry on the conversation. So this leads perfectly into, it is around more connectivity. So pre-digital, pre-social areas, communication between businesses and customers was a lot more transactional, and it tended to be more one way unless it was in person. So before we sort of, when we were in early stages of digital, it was very much go to a website, purchase the product, check out, and then wait for the product to be delivered. However, social media has really revolutionized this over the last few years, as now businesses are interacting a lot more with their customers, and we are being given the tools to do so as well. So the digital evolution has helped facilitate these conversations. It makes it easier to talk to customers, easier to gain insights from them, solve problems, and also get helpful feedback or testimonials from customers and clients. So what else is good? It means that you can increase your reach, sales, and site traffic as well. So consumers reaching businesses digitally through social media, email, and contact forms has become the norm. Okay, so I think people are seeing less and less that people are probably ringing to find out information, or coming direct to the store. I, for one, know that I do a lot of my research online first, and if I have questions, I will email them through, because it saves me time from having to go to the store first, find out the details that I need, and then make the decision there whether this is what I want or not. When I'm able to make that at home, I'm then saving time on not maybe having to visit 1 or 2 different stores. So people are then more likely to quit clicking through businesses' websites from their social media as well to find out more. And again, if we take into consideration the recent global digital report stats, 56% of New Zealand's total population use social media to search information about brands or products. So that's still a massive amount of people that you can be reaching within the social media market. And although you don't want to do, you don't want to be trying to get all of them, you still want to be looking more towards your audience. It means that you're able to capture a larger range of that audience with the right strategy in place. So another thing at the moment also to note is Facebook is still ranked highest with web traffic referrals in New Zealand among other any of the other social media platforms. So it's around 67.4%. So while other channels are good, and in particular it is looking at where your audience is and connecting with them on a platform that way, Facebook still holds most of the market at the moment. So another really good thing about digital, about social media, is there are a ton of free and paid digital tools to help you streamline your business activities. So this goes right from administration to payroll, accounting, graphic design, and marketing. So being online and being able to do that quite easily, having everything at your fingertips, can make things happen a lot faster in a business and therefore get you ahead a bit quicker than what you maybe have planned. So we do have previous webinars on Digital Boost where it does cover off details about social media marketing, and I know that we've done that as well. And so also, if you do, like, just to give you some ideas around tools, things like Canva. So Canva, I know Digital Boost have quite a few little help guides on this and webinars on this. It's very, very useful to have ready to use templates for things like social media and Facebook. And so those sorts of tools really can help you save that time from trying to start from scratch. And then also you've got tools like copy.ai, which can help you with copy for website headlines. There's hundreds of samples within that. But if you are needing sort of a more skilled designer or copywriter, that's when you start needing to look for sort of digital marketing services. So I know we at Zeald do it, but there's lots of companies out there that can help you in this space. And so that's where you would probably want to reach more into there. And then my favorite thing, at least, because I am a bit of a numbers nerd, is data. So what's so great about digital and what I think is so important to remember is you can look at your return on investment. So digital is filled with data. And so when you analyze this, data can show you where sales have spiked, dipped, maybe what's caused these. Is it seasonal? Is it, have you noticed it with inflation and the spending habits of the nation? Are there promotions that have done better than others? And where in particular within your funnel are customers dropping off, and where should you put your focus on? So that's what I love about digital. You can actually look at some numbers and use that. Older methods such as, within newspapers, etc., you can place an ad, but you don't always know if people have come to you because of that ad, unless you're specifically asking every person that you interact with how they found you. Okay, so digital does this for you without needing to ask that question. So this helps you to inform where the improvements are, where you need to sort of be putting your time and effort to help make things more effective in the long run, and potentially plug some gaps as well. You can also use tools to research what your competitors are doing, potentially where they're missing opportunities, and consider how you could then utilize that to create solutions for yourself. So that's what's so great about data and digital. So now we kind of know the why. Like I've talked about why social media, why digital, why do we want to be utilizing this? And now we're going to roll into what's really important when you do come to social media, and it's authentic branding. So authenticity is the key. You need to let your brand speak for itself through real moments. So what do I mean by that? People these days are only showing carefully curated, beautifully lit, and perfectly filtered moments, and they often get trapped in the pitfalls of comparison with other companies and one-upmanship. So now more than ever, consumers are starting to really seek authentic experiences and are holding brands accountable for the content they post. If you are on social media, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen recently a lot of people are actually having a laugh about the filters that completely change people's faces. And I, like many, are going, wow, I didn't realize that probably this person does not look like this. And again, it's this call for people to want to have an authentic connection. They want to know who you are, and what you can offer them. And so that authenticity is just another way to have human connection, in particular at this time where that is quite limited outside of the online space. So brands are being held accountable for this. And so because of that, brands really need to live up to their values and brand voice. And they need to communicate openly and honestly with their customers and be responsible for their actions. So no longer can someone say that, and I'm not sure if you've read about it recently, but some of these very big brands have said that they're taking steps to be sustainable, and they've actually been held accountable for that, because it's been more that they've just put that out there and not actually taken the actions to follow it up. So this is what people are looking for these days. So if we look again at the figures, because I think that's important, it's important to understand why the focus on this. A Stackler.com report has said that 90% of consumers say authenticity is important when deciding what brands they like and support. So more than half, so 57% of consumers think that less than half of brands create content that resonates as authentic. And I think it's important there to understand that it's where you're trying not to reach out to everyone. Not everyone's going to like you or want to support your brand, and that's okay. But if you stick to your authenticity and who your brand is and who your company is, then you're reaching out to the people that it does resonate with, and you will end up with more quality clients because of that as well. So about 60% of consumers say content from friends or family still influences their purchasing decisions, while just 23% say content from celebrities and influencers is impactful. So again, the word of mouth from people that are trusted within your circle still becomes quite powerful in this space. And so that's why it's important to be connecting to people who are genuinely interested in your brand and genuinely wanting to make purchases through you or utilize your services. And they're more likely then to also let their friends and family know, which, as you can see here, they still hold a big influence percentage. So continuing on with this, so customers really do value that, and people today will very much prefer to buy and support brands that share their values. So recently, within the last couple of weeks actually, myself, I changed my power company. And one of the reasons I have done that is because I wanted to support a power company that's supporting my values and what I believe in. And although it's not, perfect situation, it's not everything, their efforts and towards in their investments in the cleaner environment and doing what they can around climate change has been part of that decision. So that's what people are utilising as part of their spending habits these days. So this authentic content and talking about your values can forge a deeper connection with your customers, which then encourages brand loyalty, and it takes that bond past sales. So if you can get brand loyalty from a consumer or a customer, that is that word of mouth referral that starts happening, and also repeat purchases. They're more likely to then as well, not just refer to friends and family, but be posting it on their own social media and sharing with potentially an audience that they're connecting with. And these are free. So although you've put in marketing efforts, etc., to maybe get them through the funnel in the first place, that work afterwards where they're sharing with their friends and family or maybe on their social media pages, that's free advertising from them. So this is why it is important to look at authenticity. So just moving on to this, so customers also know that they support brands that are genuine and authentic, makes them then feel good about their choices. So at the end of the day, with a lot of spending habits and human behavior, there's a lot of what's in it for me. So when people are supporting brands that they feel are genuine, that are following their values and sharing in their beliefs, they feel by supporting that business, sharing content by that business, it then makes them feel good about themselves. So it's that warm, fuzzy feeling that I as a consumer get because of a decision I've made with where to spend my money or what to support. And that's a very important sort of baseline within this as well. Oh, sorry. So going on to tips, just double clicking through. We're going to move into tips now. And then after this, I do have just some actionable spaces that you can focus on as well. So tip number one is around being honest and transparent. So transparency is the name of the game when it actually comes to authenticity and showing the genuine side of the business. So let your customers or your clients get a glimpse of what's happening inside your company. If you sell products, maybe share a story about how it's made or what goes on behind the scenes. Tell people where the materials are that come from, or how they're processed or maybe manufactured, if that's not any trade secrets, of course, or how you maybe go through a design process for the things you want them to buy. So this just shows them that there's actually hard work behind this. You're not just sitting there selling stuff that maybe you've just come across. There's a full story, there's a full business behind this product or this service, and giving people a glimpse into that really helps them sort of feel more connection with your brand. For example, you know, if I was a food business, this is as simple as just showing them how you make one of the most popular dishes. And you don't have to show every single ingredient, you're just showing the process of it being made. And if you do have maybe some secret sauce in there, like McDonald's. And so likewise, yeah, if you are sharing a if you are a service-based business, you could share the work that goes into creating your customer experience. So quite recently, I've seen a few people sort of put together how they sort of package up what they do for their clients and customers, and you know, one or two things that makes them quite different, or what they feel makes them different. And this just goes to, again, show you that human connection, and that they are sort of, you know, people like you and me who are just working every day on their business and trying to do the best they can as well. So number 2 is around sharing your brand story. So I know I've talked about this before when I covered off a huge piece about the About Us page, but then take that further. Take that to your social media pages and share your story with your customers and potential customers. So the story is how your company will be remembered by customers. It's generally what makes you unique. And as much as there may be another business that's similar to yours, that no story will be just like yours. We've all come from different backgrounds, we've all had different struggles, and therefore the story is different for everyone. So it's important in this, though, to try and keep it short, in particular on social media. So use it to maybe highlight some milestones or some particular areas or issues that you faced while crafting your business. Because otherwise, if the story drags on too long, then readers may lose interest. So for some social media platforms, this is maybe where you would have 5 little slides that sort of tell quick snapshots and have little brief captions underneath just to explain it a bit more. So brand storytelling, it's very important to do because it creates that emotional connection to your audience, and it can also then increase your brand awareness, your reach, and obviously attract new followers because it's building that connection and delving into sort of their values as well with this. So another way to build authenticity is to introduce your team. Showing faces of not just the founders, but the rest of the team as well, can very much boost the image of the company. It's that human connection that I've talked about or mentioned quite a bit so far. It's that these people are real. They're just like you and me. They're just, you know, working hard on this business and really trying to offer something out there. So it can also give your clients or customers a sense of familiarity and sense of security that they are dealing with real people as well. So similar to, like I mentioned, at the moment, there is a limited human connection in some spaces. And so being able to see real people, being able to put a face to a name can really help. And so in particular, I'd also say if you're offering services and you're doing so online, make sure you're trying to have a camera on, or at least introducing yourself in that way as well, so that there is some human connection being built. And all in all, though, it does help make you all the more transparent and interesting, as it allows your audience to become part of your community. Some people also take this a step further, and one website I like in particular, when you hover over their staff, they actually have their superhero. So that's another thing that you can do in this space, is sort of have it be a fun page where you're sort of bringing it back down to earth to go, you know, these people, this is who they'd be if they're a superhero. It's a bit of a playful thing, but it can have a real connection. Be accessible is the next space we're going to talk about. So I think, while we do have phones and people can call and make that instant connection, it's just as important to understand that if someone is to reach out to you on a social platform or by another means that potentially isn't phone, not answering them within a timely manner means that you are essentially hanging up the phone on them. So it's important to be seen as accessible, but also put some SLAs in place in terms of responding in those spaces too. So some ways you can do this is to ensure that on all your social media platforms, you have clear areas where you have shown your business address, if that's required, or if you do have a storefront, contact numbers, email addresses, and make sure all your social media handles are there, and let clients know or customers know how best they should be reaching you as well. So if you maybe are a business that have a few different areas that people may need to reach out to, list those out individually. Putting as many contact details as possible gives your clients a range of options for when it comes time to getting in touch with you. I, for one, love that, because sometimes for what it is, for what the product is, or what the service is, great, I just want to reach out through email. Other times I want to, I better ring to do this one. So having those contact options available for me to make a decision on how I get in touch helps remove any barriers or roadblocks and that could stop me from contacting you because I'm very limited within the options. But like I said at the start, if you maybe are a smaller team, you can't deal with lots of phone calls, emails, chats, etc., then really look at where you would most benefit from people getting in touch with you and sort of get people funneled into that space as well. So doing so though, being accessible, being able to get back in touch with people who have reached out to you quite quickly will help improve your brand's reputation and boost your edge over competitors. Another little tip you can do here as well is when people leave comments on your post, you can answer the first few. I'm not saying go back through every single one, but if you go back to just the first few, people can see that you're engaging with your audience, which can actually make people more inclined to be commenting on your posts as well. Testimonials. It is tip number 5. So posting testimonials or reviews. So testimonials are a very strong and effective content that you can use, which basically has your clients tell your story for you, what it was about the product or the service they enjoyed, where some strong points were or where the value was. These are almost gold for you. So these are very close to the word of mouth because they are real experiences from real people. Within these, if you can share them on your website as well as on your social media, it starts building your trust and credibility and providing proof that this product works or it does as it said it will, or the service delivers on what they were expecting to get. So the more you can establish this trust and this credibility, the more you can earn leads and customers as well. How do you get started on this is what some people ask quite a lot. My simple step here is actually just to ask. Ask for reviews, ask for testimonials. The worst you can get in this case is a no. And then if you do get a no and maybe even a bad review, dealing with it by just answering and taking it offline is a very simple process for you, and I would recommend that you don't let that stop you from asking for reviews or testimonials, because the power that the good ones have for you definitely outweighs the potential of maybe getting 1 or 2 negative ones. So number 6 around building brand authenticity is to sometimes skip the call to actions. So quite often, and I know myself when I've been here presenting, I quite often go, make sure you have a call to action. If you've done this page, have a call to action. Have a next step for people. But there is a point where you can have too many of these. So when you are using social media to build your brand, you don't need to have every single post be a call to action. If you're doing an ad campaign or you're putting money into the boosted posts, I would recommend that those always have call to actions. But your more organic posts, so ones that maybe you're doing daily or every few days on your feed, don't need to always have call to actions. If you can, the reason why for this is having a call to action all the time or driving someone towards a sale all the time can get very tiring for a customer or a potential customer. They want to be connecting with you as a brand. They want to see what you have to offer. And so always pushing them straight to a product can be something that turns them away from following your content, and you may end up losing them as well. So having a good mix of content that provides helpful tip, advice, or even just simple things like yesterday was International Women's Day, and a lot of companies posted about that with no call to action, with just a little note around it. But what that is it's a good mix and a good break from maybe all the posts where you are asking someone to either sign up for something or to potentially go through and buy a product or inquire about a service. So this is what we like to call playing the long game with social media. And it is a very good game to play, essentially. And if you do have a content calendar strategy that sort of highlights when you're going to post sort of different things, I would recommend that you just do a simple color difference to show which posts have call to actions and which ones don't, and then have a look to make sure it's got a good mix throughout your content calendar or your digital marketing strategy for the year. So this balance between the posts can mean that you're more likely to then get people converting on the ones where you are pushing them with a call to action as well, because over time you've built up the benefit and the value you offer for free before then asking for something in return. And so number 7, I've just put in here because I think it's very good to recognize as well, is to own it when you mess up. So errors and mistakes happen all the time, and in particular on social media, because of how fast-paced it is, or it's a lot more faster paced than a lot of other areas. It can be that an accidental typo, a factual error, or a poorly articulated reply can suddenly get out of hand. For example, I know Nando's, I think it was last year, they posted and there was a spelling mistake, and I actually reached out to them and said, hey, you just got a little mistake in there. And they just owned it and sort of rectified it and all of that. They weren't trying to hide it. And that does just build that authenticity that you're human, you make mistakes, and you're happy to own up when a mistake is made. For mistakes that are bigger than just an accidental typo, etc., you know, a little short apology like the Skype one. You may have noticed our social media properties were targeted today. No user info was compromised. We're sorry for the inconvenience. Something short and sweet like that is just them saying, look, we know this happened and we're sorry. And also that important line of no one's security was compromised. So this social media blunders can very quickly damage your reputation because it is in real time. So you do need to make sure you're figuring out the best way to fix this, and that ownership of the blunder is generally the best way to look at it. So this sincerity within these apologies can really help repair that, some of the damage that's done, and get people to quickly move past it. Rather than sitting there having them assuming that maybe you don't know what's going on. So now that we've covered off lots of different benefits and areas to look at, I'm just going to cover off, I think it's 4, if I remember, on where can you start on this. So the first place that you could start is touching back on that first benefit I mentioned, is around posting behind the scenes videos showing how your team operates, how your products are made, or even how your materials are sourced. So this behind the scenes content, like I said, really helps humanize your brand and can bring that connection between you and your audience to a very personal level quite quickly and actually move through to conversion. It can also add value to your product and service as well, because people are seeing the effort that potentially is going into it, or sort of maybe the techniques, or again, if we look at a restaurant or something, that actually there's a lot more of flavor and thought into that meal or that dish. So on this note, don't be posting any trade secrets or areas that, you do need to keep commercially sensitive to your company. But in saying that, there's probably a lot that you can do here. Another way that you could be doing this is not just how your team operates, but you could be doing short snippets to introduce your staff, and they could maybe just give a quick 2 seconds about what they do there on video. So it's quite easy just to be coming up with ideas in this space, but it is a very good way to, again, create that human connection between your brand and your consumers and potential consumers. So number 2, another way you could be building this connection is to promote other brands' cause-related content and initiatives in your social stories and feeds to show support. So this one's very good because a lot of the time you've not had to put in as much effort. In these cases, it's normally just having a connection or a relationship with the other brand and asking if it's okay to share their content on your page, depending on the type of relationship that it is. Or if it's a larger organization and the relationship might not be there one-to-one with them, but generally it is okay to share their content as long as you're referencing them in your posts. So doing this can show your company and what it cares about. And in particular with socially relevant issues and causes that matter to the local community or the wider NZ community, it can start building that good reputation among them. So these are sort of, for example, here we have used a space that recycles, and it's one where you could then be posting to show that potentially your material is sourced from there, and it's showing them a behind the scenes and a bit more about the initiatives they put in place in regards to their recycling. So that's just one way you can do it. If you're maybe you're a store that you actually stock a lot of different brands, sharing brands that you stock and some of their posts or their content that relates down to your values as a company, again, can sort of just benefit you in terms of people going, great, I now know the store stocks this brand and I really like what they stand for. And it looks like the store also supports that. So if you've not really done this before, or you've not really focused on this as a company before, then what you're wanting to look for here is supporting causes that help improve lives of the people and improve the community you serve. If you are maybe service all within New Zealand and finding that that's a bit of a large space to be trying to sort of look at, then you could just bring that back to more your local community of where you're based, and use that as a good stepping stone as you sort of develop in this space as well. So my third one here is around creating promos that enable your customers to give back to the community as well. For example, a portion of proceeds will benefit a charity or cause your business's support. I know right now a lot of people are doing some sort of support towards the Ukraine. And so these are little sort of snippets or causes that are happening where you can be looking at a way to promote part of this. Or going back to my last one, maybe supporting a like-minded business or a brand that you work with when they are doing these sorts of things. So business owners have a responsibility to communities they operate in. This giving back to them is vital. So people do like this, and this goes back to my point earlier around what's in it for me. So when I support a company that I know is giving back in some way, shape or form within the community or to another charity or business I also support, for me, it's that feel-good feeling of, oh yes, I'll buy this product now, or I'll do this service now because a little bit's going to go to this other place. So consumers too want to take part in these. They want that feel-good feeling inside. And so often they will gladly welcome promotions that enable them to share and support the community as well. It doesn't always have to be a dollar figure either. I know some are just as simple as we donate our leftover food to the local food bank. We donate, we actually on a Saturday go and help this charity. Little things like that can sort of give that authenticity of things that maybe you do that do relate back to your company as well. And you could be showing how you're doing that for the community and sharing that on your business. So number 4 is reviewing your content calendar or maybe your digital marketing strategy for the year. And don't be afraid to share how you're making a positive impact on the community, one product or service at a time. For a lot of New Zealanders, we don't always like blowing our own trumpet. We don't always like shouting out from the rooftops about our successes, but it's important that you do so. And sometimes you just have to quieten that voice in your head that's saying, don't do it, and just go ahead and do it. So doing this can actually have a very positive impact on your brand because it's showing the impact that you're having on the community. So utilizing Zeald as an example here, we hit 20 years last year, so it's 21 years this year. And over that time, we've helped more than 15,000 Kiwi businesses digitally transform, which is amazing, but it's not something we often talk about. We were actually very surprised when we came to that number when we were putting together our 20 years. So that's just an example of, having these details and having these this information can be very positive to share. And it's not about sort of going, look how great I am and having every single post be about that. It's more just giving those small insights to go, wow, in this many years, this is what we've been able to achieve. Or since I started this service, I've been able to help this many people with it. So those little things can make a big impact on your business and are very good just to do little milestones here and there and make sure that there is one posted within the next year within your content calendar. So one thing I do want to cover off before we start going into questions is I will be sharing to Digital Boost a brand voice chart template that we have. And I just want to touch on what this is. And it's a very useful tool to be using when you are trying to create this authentic brand, in particular with your social media spaces. So what this brand voice chart does is it's almost a cheat sheet. So what you'll be doing here is highlighting the different types within your audience of people that you're speaking to. And this way, when you come to write a post or have to put something quickly online in particular as well, you can refer to this chart to give you sort of get your head in the game, get your head in the right space for that audience. So what it does is it gets you to list down the voice characteristics within the audience that you need to be aware of, a description of what that looks like. So sometimes some examples in there is really good. And then it just gets you to put down the do's and don'ts. So when you are creating that brand voice, that brand audience, there will be very simple things that people do and don't like within that space. And so it's just a very good, quick few bullet points of things that when you're speaking to this audience, what do they like? What do they want to hear? And then some quick, what don't they want to hear, or what doesn't work if I were to put it that way. So this is a voice chart that I'll be sharing, and I'm sure Digital Boost will be able to get it online with this as well. So just quickly with us for Zeald, so we've been, like I said, in the business for 21 years now. So if you need help with making your brand authentic online, or if you need a website, we have our senior digital business strategists that offer free online strategy sessions. And we also are continuing on with our Get e-commerce movement offer, which gives you a free website with free hosting for the first 12 months. So if you would like to inquire about any of those, visit zeald.com for all the details. There's quick links off the homepage to them. But for now, that's all from me so far. So I made it under time. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them through now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lisa. This has, of course, been another epic session. Really enjoyed all of the insights there. You covered off so much stuff. So do feel free to drop your questions in if you have specific to your business. Actually, sometimes it's really helpful for all of us to hear some of these questions, because it might be a question that some other folk is having and they're just a bit too shy to ask. So do chime in. And let me have a look at the social media, because we do have quite a few folks hanging in there. Now, I did drop the Copy AI link onto all of the channels. So if you're looking for that, you can find either I've just kind of Copy AI, and you can find them that way, or I've actually dropped the link in here in the chat. Just wanted to say that Copy AI tip is amazing. Never heard of it before. Look, there's heaps of sites out there these days that will generate copy for you. I'm trying to think of the other really big one. I'm going to have a look in my, it used to be called Jarvis, but it's not called that anymore. And I'm just trying to think of what it's called now. I've got so many links in here after watching so many of these. I actually myself take the links and pop them into a file for myself, because I just think that, there's so many. How do you keep track of all of them?
Definitely. There are a lot of tools, and it is sort of working out what works best for you as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm just going to have a quick look, because using AI for your copy is actually becoming more and more common for copywriting. It's called Jasper. Okay, I knew it was something similar. I'm just going to pull it up. So what you can actually do with this app, and I'll drop the app into you can have a play around with that for free as well, but you can actually drop a topic in there and it will generate all of the copy for you. Now, that's a bit like, what about me? What about my voice? Look, some people are not writers, and you don't have to be. That's what a lot of these digital tools are allowing us to do, is to take time at doing things that we love to do. It might even just be something that you use to get a little bit of a starting point. So maybe you just need a little bit of help on how to structure that. So you kind of put in a question. You could use something like Answer the Public for that, and Answer the Public will tell you questions in your specific category that you're looking at. And then you could take one of those questions that people are Googling and searching, like, how to be an amazing presenter, like Lisa Maya from Zeald, and then you type that into something like Jasper or Copy AI. I'm not sure. I haven't used Copy AI. Does it do something similar, or?
Yeah, it can give you sort of those headlines, and I think Jasper gives you a lot more content, so more for like blogs, etc. But they do shorter bits, whereas Copy AI, quick snippets and things like that.
Oh, yeah. So that's even like a great complementary tool if you want to use both, if that's not your thing, or perhaps English isn't your first language and you're trying to write in English. That can be really challenging. Having taught a lot of international folks in the past English, doesn't mean that you're not amazing at what you do. Like, use some tools to help you get across the line and get that copy out there, so you can also have the SEO as well, because you've talked a lot about that.
I think what I liked about what you said, and that's often what I use these tools for, it's more that starting point, because quite often, like, I'm not great at writing, but once I get into it, or I have something to start with, I can go. So a lot of the time, like you said, use it to get maybe your first sort of couple of paragraphs, but then word it in the way that you would normally talk. But at least it's giving you that content that you're not having to try and think of from scratch. So I think that's a really cool key tool to use for those. And like you said, AI is definitely becoming a lot larger, and a lot of the tools are using it these days. I know there's a company, I think it's in the UK, that's starting up, and it's having the AI generated people that will actually look like real people, and that will start doing the ads. It's really
anyone
cool.
Wants to check that out, it's actually it's a New Zealand based company, and you can go on and have a play. It's called Soul Matters, I think. Soul Machines. Yeah, I'll drop the link in here. Check it out. We do talk about future technologies here on Digital Boost. We don't talk about them as much as we talk about this kind of stuff, but Soul Machines, if you go on there, you can do a free thing. And basically a lot of these this is a little bit of an automated customer experience, Soul Machines. However, what you're talking about is you can use programs like Descript, and Descript will record your voice. So you record maybe 30 minutes or up to a certain amount of time, and it puts that all into like a memory box.
Yes.
And then you can use an avatar, and that avatar, or that, like computer generated version of you, or if you want it to look like someone else, you can do that as well. You can write something down, and it will generate, using the recording of your voice, it will translate it into what you've written. It's quite cool. There's a lot of stuff happening out there. I hope to feature some of this stuff on Digital Boost, just to keep us all in the loop, because I think that here on Digital Boost, we're innovative, aren't we? Like all the folks that tune into here are people who want to be, pushing forward and moving their business forward. And these are all things that are going to become a part of business over the next few years. And if we look at it from a lens, like a childlike lens, like a fun lens, it can be really fun to learn about some new technologies that are happening out there in the world and how we can utilize them. So I've dropped that into all the chats, maybe not Soul Machines, but here, I'll put that in there. Just a thank you for today, Lisa from Lupe on Facebook. A lot of people tuning in on Facebook actually today, and on LinkedIn as well. So welcome. A couple on YouTube. There's no questions so far. Thank you from Dean. Thanks, Dean. And yeah, if you have any questions that you think of later, because sometimes we do have quite a lot of content, don't we? Yeah, like the team at Zeald are stellar, to be honest. They're always here showing up for Digital Boost users, and they're part of the Digital Alliance Network. They're really embedded and committed to helping small businesses in New Zealand. So just a great info. Thanks. You're so welcome. This has been a great session, Lisa. I'm not seeing any questions come through, and
that's fine.
It was just a great session, So yeah, we'll leave it at that, and we'll let you guys get on with your day. And if you've got questions later, then just reach out, and you can always reach out to us at support@digitalboost.co.nz if you feel like you need a bit more help with something that's not related to this, anything at all. Let us know related to your business. We can get on the phone. We can do a Zoom call with you. We can, chat with you via email, whatever works best for you. Thanks, awesome. Lisa.
Thanks so much for having me. Yes, good to see you too. I haven't seen you so far.
Yeah, it's been too long. So I'm looking forward to our next session. I don't remember what the topic title is for that.
Don't think we have it. We're going to look at a podcast, so I just had to get back to you on that. So
yes, cool. Well, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Ka kite, stay well, take care of yourselves. Yeah, that's about it.